Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we move on with our rankings as we get to running back rankings. It's going to be top 20 running backs today. Last week we did quarterback, so if you're just tuning in for the first time, go check out last week's episodes if you want to see our quarterback ranks. Or I guess you go to our website too, fantasyfootballprophet.com. We have all of our rankings there. And I say before we get into the ranks, we're into the training camps now underway, Jeff. So, I mean, how much earth-shattering news was there last week? If you pay attention to anything going on, it seems like everything that happened was just amazing and just the biggest news ever, right? So we got Kalen Ballage as a RB1 now. He's a starter. Tyler Boyd's a wide receiver 1. I think Damien Williams isn't anything anymore, right? Because there was a couple other guys taking first team carries. I mean, I don't even know what else is out there, but all these are concrete news. We know what's going on now, right?
Yeah, talk. It's always the same thing every year. I mean, some of it's good. You have to wade through it, but, don't take that stuff seriously.
Honestly, there isn't much so far that's actually happened that's newsworthy. I guess the A.J. Green injury's newsworthy. It definitely is. Mm-hmm. It drops him in the draft. He'll be back relatively soon in the season, so it might just make him a value, if anything. I don't know how much it really affects me with Tyler Boyd. He wasn't great, really. He was better with Green last year on the team than he was without Green. But that's kind of deceiving in a way because his quarterback was also Jeff Driscoll for most of that time, and it wasn't Andy Dalton. So it's really hard to say what that is. I don't know what that is. To me, it doesn't really affect it right now. Wait and see kind of a thing. And like the Drake thing, we might get into that next episode. So we'll see if we think anything about Kalen Ballage and if he's actually taken over. And spoiler alert, no, he's not. All right, so we'll jump into this in a second. Actually, I wanted to talk quick about our relegation leagues. We haven't talked about this in a few episodes. Some of you that were listening back in June would have heard. We have started up our own new relegation style league, which we currently have 18 different leagues, 4 tiers. And so over the seasons, we want people to move up and down the leagues. You win and you keep moving up. You can get up to the Champions League. There will be prizes and such as we get going here for all the different leagues. But we've had quite a good response where we have now filled 18 full leagues, which is 216 teams of different people that you listen to the podcast. So we have 216 of them, and all the invites are out for all those leagues. Everything's set. And I was thinking earlier today, I mean, I feel like, Jeff, we should open up for more leagues, add a 5th tier. I don't know. I think that's a little crazy.
I say the more the merrier. We'll make it tougher, though. More people have to come down then. So
we decided, we're going to open it up. We're going to open up a 5th tier. So how you get in is go to, I guess it's not really called iTunes anymore, right? Apple Podcasts. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and then just let us know that you've left us a review. Basically, send a screenshot of it to either, you can go on Instagram at Fantasy Football Prophet and send us a message there with it. You go on Twitter at the FF Prophet, send us a message with the screenshot there, or you can email us at fantasyfootballprophet@gmail.com, and we'll get you in a league, and we're going to try to fill up. I'm not putting a limit on this. I'm not doing it, Jeff. We're not going to put a limit. We're just going to add more leagues. I will say, though, these leagues are probably more than likely going to be drafting on August 11th and August 18th to start. We might see if we add some other dates after that, but right now, to try to organize these, it's a lot easier if we have a few dates set. We actually do have, though, 5 of these leagues that we are setting up. Let's see, I think it's 5 are drafting already this Sunday. So if you're in the relegation leagues, and if you haven't somehow received your invite and you signed up, reach out to us because they should have gone out. So yeah, there we go. That's good. I think that's a pretty, I don't even know how many. We're going to end up maybe with 300 teams. I'm for it. I'm all for that, Jeff. 300 teams, 5 tiers. Kind of a big league. So you want to join in, check us out on all those things. We'll have a post on Instagram about it as well. So you go check us out there. All right. Running back ranks. We're going to start off at the top. We're going to go 1 through 20. I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time here on our top 4 because I feel like, honestly, these are so interchangeable. So I'm going to list them off here quick. We'll discuss them all at once. So 1 through 4. We actually had a tie at number 1. It was a tie between us, which I had Christian McCaffrey number 1. Jeff had him number 2. Jeff had Saquon number 1. I had Saquon number 2. So we had a tie there. And the reason I ended up dropping Zeke to 3 is just because the slight uncertainty we have right now. He's not at the start of camp. I honestly don't think that'll last into the season. I don't. He actually needs to be there and play to get his money. He's not in the last year of his contract. He just needs to show up, and he's going to, I believe. So Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley tied for 1. I will say this about Saquon. I'm honestly slightly worried about the team. All the receivers are going down. I just worry that there's nothing on that offense to stop people from completely keying on Saquon, and it's worrying me. And he would be number 3 for me if Zeke was in camp. So there we go. I don't know. Are you worried yourself number 1? You're not there yet. You probably won't be there then, are you? You're just not going to get there.
I think Barkley is safe. I get your point. I mean, if you're splitting hairs, then definitely New York Giants. Their offense is worse. But hey, I mean, both of them catch a ton of balls. I know that we talked about Christian McCaffrey being, a wide receiver out there pretty much. What do you have, 107 receptions last year?
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, 107. Saquon had 91. So both of them are going to be extremely safe. You're going to be fine. We can throw Zeke in that argument as well. He had 77 catches, and he had a 304 rush attempts, more than the other two. I mean, by far more. So these guys are bell cows. They're going to get a ton of touches. You're going to be fine no matter who you pick. You can't predict injury for any one of these 3 guys because none of them have really been injured yet. So pick which guy you like and run with him.
Yep. Okay, I will say I can craft the argument for Barkley or against Barkley. It's anybody, you can do it for pretty much everything. I can craft the Saquon argument that I did, that I don't think the team's going to, I worry about the team, or you can go and say, well, there's no one left in the team. They just have to throw it to him every time and they have to run it with him every time. You could do it either way. And honestly, I can't see the future. I don't know how to play out. I don't know. He might be that good that he can withstand all the people being keen on him. He's if there's anybody that can do it, he's one of them that could.
Yeah, he didn't fall off during the year. Yeah. And losing OBJ, as much as he is a wonderful player, I don't think that is going to be the difference. They weren't that great last year, and he still did what he did. He was number 2 behind Gurley. You're going to be fine.
Yep. And then Zeke's 3. Zeke's great. We just got to wait and see if he comes. He's going to come to camp. I don't buy this one. Talk about Melvin Gordon in a little bit. I think we buy that one. I don't buy Zeke. Then Kamara's 4th. He's just the end of the top guys. He's great. There's really not much to say. I honestly, for the people that originally thought his role might really increase without Ingram, I don't know if it'll really increase a lot. I don't think they want to use him any more than they have. I don't know if he's effective that way. It might be slight, just a little bit more, but I think I really am coming around on, I think Murray's going to take over almost an Ingram role.
I do too. And I think, I could see Kamara.
Yeah.
You could add up to 30 touches, which seems like a lot, but really, he didn't average anywhere near what the other guys did. He didn't get, 194, rushing attempts is nothing to sneeze at, but that's what he got as the, quote unquote, number 1 back. Yep. He also had 81 catches. So, I think you could actually add a little more to his plate, but I don't think you're going to all of a sudden see Saquon or Zeke numbers where you get 300 rushes. That's not going to happen.
No. All right. Let's go to number 5, which seems to be a hot take here, Jeff. Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is each of our number 5. I
don't know why.
But we currently are 6 spots ahead of Gurley on his expert consensus rank. His expert consensus ranks 11th, and his ADP is 9. And we have him at 5. I just think he's going to be fine. Okay, I think we're going to see Todd Gurley out there with slightly less touches. And that's built into ranking him 5th. Because if you just saw Todd Gurley with Todd Gurley touches, he's number 1. I think we're going to see Todd Gurley with less touches. And that's still going to put him up here. I just don't. Yes, there's some knee issues. There's the arthritis, but he's not. I don't know. I've done this Todd Gurley thing so many times. I think he's fine. I'm not that worried. I'm really not. I do think the usage will be down. I completely buy that, 100% buy that. I just don't think he's going to be any worse because I think they're going to use him correctly, and they're not going to let him get wore down, and they're going to save him. And so, yes, he's going to play. He's going to have less usage. There might even be drives where you don't see Todd Gurley. You're going to get a little frustrated every once in a while that all of a sudden there's no Todd Gurley. But the touchdowns aren't going away. He's still going to get touchdowns. He's still in a great offense. He's still going to be great. So, yeah, Todd Gurley's going to be good.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that.
That's just.
He's that good. Yeah, he's just that good.
Yep, and that's a crazy take of us putting Todd Gurley top 5.
I don't know why either, because you look at the numbers. I mean, how much you really think he's going to dip by? I feel like people are confusing, a rollback of the amount of touches he's going to get over a year compared to he's going to get injured. That's what I feel like everyone's saying.
No,
his knee is out. He's going to be injured. He's going to miss games. That's not what they were saying.
No, and
and honestly, we don't even know if his touches will go down. That's just what we're assuming.
If you can get him at the beginning of the second round, like I've seen in a lot of drafts, that's awesome. You're going to be in great shape. So let's go number 6. David Johnson comes in number 6 for us. I ranked him 6th. You ranked him 7th. I think we both think Arizona's offense is going to be better. And if that is the case, David Johnson should be a pretty good fantasy option. He was, where are we at? We're at now 2016. Was his season was his breakout year. He got injured in 2017, but it was what? It was like a wrist injury, hand injury that didn't affect much. The team was just terrible last year. It was just a bad team, and he really didn't have a shot. And that's where I actually start to worry a little about Saquon is look what David Johnson's not Saquon, but he was really bad. He was on a bad team. I worry about that with Saquon. But all right, we're talking about David Johnson. This team should be better, and I think it's going to be. I just think this offense is going to work. So he's a 6 back for me, but it's not like I just go get David Johnson and feel just amazing about it right now because I still have some hesitation. I really do, but I have that about a lot of these guys down here. So that's why he's 1 spot higher for me. You have our number 7 player, Joe Mixon, ahead of him. So that's it. I would say you had Mixon 7. You had Mixon just 1 spot higher than Johnson. What is it? Just probably just safety. Is it more just you feel like Mixon just you know what he's going to do? Yeah,
and also I think people really underestimate how good Mixon was last year. I mean, first of all, David Johnson he's a very, very good running back on his own. Obviously, I ranked him very high, but he finished 10th last year. He played a full season, which was wonderful. You finally saw him at full health. Obviously, the offense wasn't very good, but he can obviously catch the ball as well as run it. So once again, that's what happens when even though you're on a bad offensive team, that's a safety net. The fact that you can play both ways. He finished 5th in touches, compared to the other running backs. All these things trending up. I think Mixon could actually get more touches. He only played 14 games, and he finished ahead of David Johnson already. He finished 9th. So I think his catching ability can actually go up, where maybe David Johnson can. We're not sure what this offense is going to bring. But as a safety, I feel like we want to believe that Arizona, Cardinals offense is just going to take off right away. But, it may take a few games. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a brand new offense. It's a brand new quarterback. We want it to do well, but I think Joe Mixon, plug and play every single week. He's going to be a top 10 guy. Yeah, he did wonderful. Number 9, even though missing 2 games. So, yeah.
Mixon, he's going to be great. He has what? He has Gio Bernard behind him. Mm-hmm. But Gio's not taking that job ever. It's Mixon's job. He's not losing it. He's going to be great. And the team, though, it's not amazing. I can say that. But then again, they do have some offensive talent, so we'll see how it plays out. But Mixon should be good at number 7 for us. So number 8, LeVeon Bell is number 8. And I guess all the early reports we've heard in camp, everything feels positive, which I hoped it would. That's the thing with early camp reports. As long as it's positive, you're at least not going down. I'm not like buying into all this positivity. But when you have negative reports, that's when you worry. Like the only worry I would have had with Bell is are you going to get the early reports of he came in out of shape or something? And that's not the case. That didn't happen. So just that alone is just good. It's just good to hear that it is all positive. It's all and then he did his apology to fantasy owners today. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
he actually posted. I don't know what it was on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. He made a apology to fantasy owners for drafting him last year. So hey, he's trying to get in the good graces here. I just
Okay.
I just don't know the team. I just don't know how the team's going to be. Again, there's a lot of team issues with some of these players. There is no competition for Bell on his team. He's going to be out there all the time. If Darnold turns a corner and becomes a good NFL quarterback in his second year, this is going to help Bell quite a bit. And it's a lot of unknown. So a lot of unknown, he just drops here. He's the 8th because of the unknown. That's all this is, at least for me. And I had him one spot ahead of the Mixon because I just feel like there's just a level. I don't think Mixon can quite get to Bell's level. I mean, he could beat them this year, but I don't think he can get to that LeVeon Bell level that Bell's been before. And Bell, I don't know if he can or not yet. I still think it's possible that it's there.
Right. So you're
that's
going for
that's it.
If
it's
only
only
Le'Veon Bell of old,
Yeah.
you're going for that. I get that. I love Le'Veon. Obviously, I think he's a wonderful player, but I still have my concerns. Obviously, he still ranks in my top 10. He's too good not to be there, not to take that risk. But you're going from the best possible spot you can almost be in as a running back, and then you're going to a place where it's very, very uncertain. That alone kind of worries me. The Le'Veon Bell that we are usually thinking of as well, when he is a top 5 running back, I mean, the guy needs a ton of touches, and I think he can get there. But last year with Pittsburgh, when he finished number 2 overall, behind Todd Gurley, by the way, just to throw that out there, he had 406 touches. I mean, that is bizarre. I mean, it's crazy. Just to give you an idea, last year, Zeke actually led the NFL, all running backs with touches, 381. So he had 25 more touches the year he finished number 2. I mean, I don't know if you're actually going to give him that many touches when I think they're going to be just a middling team at best. And, you just signed him to this huge contract. You're really going to try to run him into the ground. I just don't see it. So I think this is the more appropriate spot, but I see him as a lower, RB1 this year because of it does worry me a bit.
And then so you have our number 9 player, James Conner, one spot ahead of Bell.
Mm-hmm.
So you just feel safer about that slightly.
Situation completely.
And Conner, I put at 9, you put him at 8, so it's not like I'm down on him. The only reason he's at 9 for me, and even though I think he has some big potential here too, is I'm not 100% sure what he is yet. I mean, I've went over the stats before previously. I don't have them in front of me right now, but his game log is interesting. There's some big games in there. There's a stretch of big games, but then there's a lot of stuff in there that made me worry. And then you saw Jalen Samuels even could come in and be effective. And you just wonder if a lot of it is system. It is system there. Connor's a good back, but the system makes him even a better back, which makes me feel like if he doesn't, I don't know if I don't know what they feel about him yet, but I think it'll all turn out well. That's why he's ranked as a top 10. But that's that slight thing in the back of my mind, which I'm just like, what was that? Why was he not? There was stretches where it wasn't good. Why was that? And can Samuels take over? Can even Benny Snell, who they drafted this year, is he something? Just makes me slightly hesitate, but not enough to take him out of my top 10.
Yeah.
And he's still there.
I get the worry. I really do. But hey, Pittsburgh running backs, it's just money. You've seen every single running back that has, started done pretty well. And yeah, he did have the games in the middle of the season, weeks 5 through 8, he just absolutely destroyed it when they were giving him over 20 touches a game. He was averaging over 100 yards rushing. I mean, he was an absolute beast. 12 touchdowns rushing. Surprisingly, he only caught 1, which I'm actually surprised at. But I'm kind of with you as far as I don't know if he is going to be the Le'Veon Bell position. I don't know if with Antonio Brown leaving, they have all those touches. You can look at it one of two ways. You're either looking at it, oh my gosh, Connor could get so many more touches, or you're going to say they're going to figure out different guys to implement. And if everyone does well, then it's worse for Connor in a way. So if Jalen Samuels goes out there, catches a ton of balls, looks really good, why wouldn't you use a more two-headed beast than, the Le'Veon Bell show where they literally just plugged him in, gave him 400 touches a year. So
no, they seem to always have that guy though. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made a lot of guys relevant in that. Like, remember Rashard Mendenhall?
Oh yeah.
Like he was even D'Angelo Williams became extremely good a couple years ago when filling in for Bell. Willie Parker before that.
I don't think they've had a running back that failed.
No, they all work.
And they all work. That is my biggest worry about LeVeon, not to keep begrudgingly, but are they the kingmaker?
How much of that was system?
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was system. I truly believe. I do also believe Bell's a talented back, but
you could be a good back on a bad team, and your numbers could really be hurt by that. It doesn't mean you're not a good running back.
I don't know. He is good, but I mean, he was just okay at Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I love Michigan State, but man, yeah, he was a good college running back, but
you didn't see this from him, did you?
No, he wasn't touted that highly coming out of going into the draft. I mean, he was a bigger back. He wasn't very explosively fast. He was good at finding the hole. That all does very well for a hard-nosed running Pittsburgh team. But when you're on the Jets and you're running for your life a little bit,
All right, we'll go number 10. Nick Chubb came in at number 10. He's your 10th, my 11th. He was good last year, over 5 yards per carry. I think the Browns are going to be a great team. I really like this. I mean, I don't know for sure about a great team. I think they're going to be an exciting team. I think they're going to be a very good team. We'll see. I think they're going to be exciting, though, and Chubb is going to be the main guy there. I'm not really worried about Kareem Hunt. He's not coming back till week 9 or something. Yeah. I'm not really worried about that. Nick Chubb is going to I think he's going to have a very good season, and it's all around offense now. They can pass the ball. They can't key on Nick Chubb. They can't key on the run. Sure, key on the run all you want, and they'll just throw the ball all day. It's going to be hard to stop this offense. So Chubb's number 10, and I do have one player ahead of him than you did, but I agree with it. I'm so good with this.
Okay.
So.
And I mean, first of all, I'm trying to think of the way to poke holes in my theories on a lot of these players, but the thing you could say is now that they're so much more dynamic on the passing game, where obviously Baker is the real deal, you have OBJ, like how much are you actually going to pass? But if you look at the numbers from last year, and they won a lot of their games in the second half of the season, and Chubb had 192 touches. I mean, that number is definitely not going to go down. And it's because he only got 3 attempts. He averaged less than 3 attempts in the first 6 games when they had Carlos Hyde. They got rid of him. All of a sudden, they were giving him, anywhere from 9 to 28 carries. And he's averaged over 5 yards a carry, which is crazy. 8 touchdowns rushing, 2 more receiving. You give this guy a third more of the season to go on, and say even if you gave him 230 carries or something, he's still going to be a phenomenal pick right here. So I know that you might say, I'm not so sure. He's a, second-year runner. They're going to throw it all the time. This guy's going to be a stud. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and I was able to draft him in an experts league we did last week in the third.
Yeah, I get it. There's a bunch of other big names. Yeah, but he's a wonderful pick.
I paired him with Zeke.
There are a few guys that I get in a lot of different drafts.
Yeah,
Chubb is one of them that is huge. Another one that is another value pick. It's hard to call Chubb a value pick because I understand why everyone else is ahead of him. Obviously, I ranked him there too, but him and Ingram, I think those two are kind of slipping under the radar just because people don't realize how good they really are.
So let's go to number 11, and that's Dalvin Cook. He's your 11th, my 12th. So this is the weird thing about Dalvin Cook, and he's extremely talented, we believe, right? So this is a third-year running back who we're ranking 12th who doesn't even have 1,000 career yards. He doesn't have 1,000 career yards yet. He never has finished better than 31st in a season in fantasy. So, there's definitely some question marks here. And he's only had 4 career touchdowns. So, 6. He had 2 receiving.
Yeah. But
we've seen the talent. We've seen what he can be. And if the guy stays healthy, he's going to be great. I was looking at this rank earlier today. And this is the one where I'm sitting here like, should I move him down lower? But then again, as we'll get here in a minute, you'll see why I didn't. Because there's question marks below him too, as much as I like some of these guys. Except I did have him below the next guy. But Dalvin Cook, I mean, yeah. Do you hesitate when you're going to draft him too?
Yeah, I totally understand because I'm assuming that he's going to stay healthy. That's a big assumption because really the only reason he doesn't have all of the stats that you alluded to is because injury. I mean, during week 4 of his rookie season, he blew out his knee. and then he just wasn't right. He played 3 games starting 2018. Then he had he was injured again, had to go off. He finished strong the last half of the last year. And obviously Minnesota could really use him because you have to be a little more dynamic, and I think that'll help the passing game as well. When he's on the field, he's tremendous. He's one of the better athletes on the field. Every time you watch him, you're amazed. I mean, his shiftiness, his quickness. I think by the end of the year, he was really getting that back finally. I think that knee injury just totally derailed him for his first couple of years. So, yeah, I mean, I love the talent. And the reason he's out of my top 10, because I think his talent is up there, is because, what if he does get injured again? I don't know if his body can actually withstand the NFL, intensity.
Well, this is it for him. So if he doesn't pull it off this year, we're never ranking him like this again. So that's pretty much all there is to it.
I mean, it's the Sammy Watkins effect, right?
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Number 12. Well, actually, before we get to number 12, maybe I don't know if you want to adjust your ranks here in a second and move this guy way up here. Alfred Morris just signed with the Cowboys.
I wonder if that's like a ploy by them to be like, Zeke.
Honestly, you're right. They're like, hey, Zeke, we don't need you. Yeah. Jerry Jones earlier today said you don't need a leading rusher to win the Super Bowl kind of a thing, which is funny because the only time Jerry Jones ever won a Super Bowl was with Emmitt Smith. Come on, man. I mean, it's true. It's a true. I agree with it kind of, but come on.
I do too.
Come on. Zeke's great, but they're signing Alfred Morris. Come on.
They're playing head games. They are. Especially Alfred Morris. Like, if it was someone a little more.
Yeah. So we'll go number 12. Aaron Jones comes in at number 12. He's your 14th ranked running back, my 10th. This is one that we differ slightly. Yeah. And I just love Aaron Jones.
I know. And I get it. You can give all the stats.
I don't even know. 5 point whatever yards per carry. I use the yard per carry when it benefits me.
Yeah.
This is more of an eye test. This is more of watching this guy play. And every time I've watched him play, I just truly believe he is a extremely talented running back. And given the opportunity to get 200 carries in a season, he is going to be great. Because last year, 133 carries. Only 133 carries. He turned that into 728 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. And I mean, his receiving wasn't great. It wasn't huge, but it was still 26 in 12 games, 26 catches for 206. A young running back, that can increase. Look at like Zeke. Zeke's increased big time in a couple of years. I'm not saying he's Zeke, but I'm saying it can happen. Mark Ingram became was able to catch the ball after not doing it early on too. So he's adequate in that area. But 8 touchdowns in 12 games on only 133 carries, 5.5 yards per carry each of his 2 seasons. So in 2 seasons, he has 214 carries for 1176 and 12 touchdowns. And that's pretty much a full, that's not even, 214 would be great. That's not high-end workhorse numbers for carries, but if he's able to get 214, I feel like he could pull this off. 214 for 1176, 12 touchdowns. Yeah, I think he could do that and be up here. They need to give him, I hope Jamal Williams isn't as good as Aaron Jones. Just hopefully the new coaching staff gets that and just don't just see what you got in Aaron Jones. Give him the ball. And I think the big things are going to come.
I'm with you on that. In 2 years, I think everyone else sees it, but for some reason they don't give him enough touches.
I'm hoping the new staff does see it.
So that's kind of why, I mean, really I finished at Chubb. The next 5 guys, starting with Delvin, who we already talked about, to number 15, I feel like I should say the next 4 are all kind of the same running back, where you're not really sure. They haven't proven it yet. They have a lot of upside. So I went with the safer play on the people I ranked just ahead of Aaron Jones. Love the guy. I'd be very happy if he was on my team, like a running back 2 or something. But I'm not fully trusting Green Bay to give him enough carries where he would have more of an upside to like a Marlon Mack, who I'm sure is coming up.
So the next 2 guys on our list are guys you ranked ahead of him. And their Damien Williams came in at 13. Actually, they're a tie. It's a tie actually here. Damien Williams and Marlon Mack tied for the next spot. You had Mack 12, Williams 13. I had Williams 15, Mack 16. So we're off slightly, but
would you have Williams?
I had Williams 15.
Okay.
And that means I put him down. The next 2 guys. So Williams, this is the one where I'm like, man, I could really miss the boat here and just miss out on a huge guy. But I have in the back of my mind where I'm like, I try to avoid a lot of risk in fantasy football a lot. I don't like risk. a huge amount of risk. I'll take a little bit of risk, but I don't like this. Damien Williams could be a top 5 back if he is truly used like he was at the end of last season. But we've never seen this from Damien Williams before. In Miami, we didn't see this. We didn't see, and he only got used at the very end of last season. And that's it. That's it for Damien Williams. There's no guarantee. We've seen other people do things similar and be great for a short amount of time and then never return to that form again. This could be that. I'm not saying it is, but that's my mindset when I think about, I always try to, I guess when I think about fantasy football, a lot of times I'm thinking about just past experiences, past situations, try to think of similar players, similar situations where they broke out for a short time and then disappeared. And that's why, I mean, I guess I'm not sitting here watching Damien Williams game film. I'm not analyzing the tape. It's all about situations. And I just have that hesitation, that slight worry where maybe this isn't a thing. Maybe Carlos Hyde plays more than we think. Maybe, whoever else is behind him. I can't remember all their names right now. Darrell Williams was getting first team reps today. Yesterday it was, who's their rookie guy? I can't remember. Is it, I'm drawing a blank on this name. I want to say it's like, Darwin Thompson, I believe, is, a rookie they got. He was getting first team reps. I just think they're trying all kinds of guys. That's not something to worry about, but who knows? They gave Williams a little bit of a contract, but nothing that's major. They're not tied to him in any way. And
he's not a young running back either.
No.
He's been around. He was in Miami for a while, right? Miami? I believe so.
Yeah.
And I think in any other system, he'd probably be just a guy. But I truly do think that he is the best running back they have. And to talk about how good he was in the final, games of the season when they got rid of Kareem Hunt, who, was very impressive, but looked a little less impressive because Damien Williams almost picked right up, where he left off, kind of like the Pittsburgh situation. The guy in the last 6 games had 100 yards from scrimmage, averaging 100 yards from scrimmage, 1.7 touchdowns, and 17.5 touches. 2 of those were playoff games, so obviously they were high intensity. They trusted him enough to give him the ball that much. I have to believe that it's going to be his to lose. And I'm just putting my faith in the fact that a veteran running back that knows this is his chance is going to take that and do the most with it, because this really is, if he falls on the depth chart here, he's relegated to a backup position the rest of his life pretty much. And I don't know enough about the rookie running back to know if he's going to be anything. I'm just assuming he's not. He wasn't an incredibly high pick. Carlos Hyde I like him as a runner, but his yard per carry has been dwindling. Obviously, that's why having Chubb backing him up, Cleveland had no problem trading him. He's a very good backup, but I don't think he is the answer. I think Damien Williams is the answer. But like you said, he is going to be the running back that is that is going to be the payoff or not. So you're going to draft him, and either you're going to love your team because all of a sudden you got a number 1 back, at where you should have gotten a number 2, or, oh my gosh, he got benched halfway through the year and they just would rather give it to Hyde because he doesn't fumble or something like that. Know what I mean? This is the comparison for some reason I'm starting to feel. Like maybe Williams was going to have this one big season. Maybe he will be good this year, but it could fall off after that. I'm reminded of Justin Forsett for some reason, of a guy who was all of a sudden really good a little bit later in his career. He'd been around. We knew the name. That's a good point.
We knew the name. Forsett wasn't a surprise to him. Like Williams, we've known that name. And all of a sudden Williams hasn't had the full season yet. I just worry because we've seen this. I mean, we have seen this time and time again with players. And actually, I just pulled up this list here. It's basically every single season for about since about 2010, 2009, 2008 actually here. We've had this one and done player, this one and done guy who had that one moment of glory. And then that was pretty much it. So I'm going to go back to 2008. Steve Slayton. Remember Steve Slayton?
Yeah.
He was playing
Texans?
Yeah. Jerome Harrison in 2009. Peyton, he played for, I believe, the Browns.
Oh, okay.
Peyton Hillis, another one.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
Roy Halou.
That was Cleveland again.
Yeah. Roy Halou. Remember
Washington?
Remember the Roy Halou draft the next year. Mikel LaShore, Lions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he played a
memory.
big year, but he was Zach Stacy. God, remember that one.
Yeah, that one lingered for quite a while.
Then Justin Forsett was the next one. Jeremy Langford. Remember that one with the Bears?
That's another painful one for MSU.
Spencer Ware. He was maybe more injury based after that.
Yeah, and really Kareem Hunt is the one that really derailed him as well.
Rob Kelly. Remember Rob Kelly?
Was he really that big about?
Oh, he had a big year.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember him having a big year.
Alex Collins, of course.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these players are on the same teams.
Yeah, right. There was a lot of this in military. I'm not saying Williams is that. I'm just saying we've seen that before, and it worries me.
Without a doubt. And so I get, and really honestly, if we're talking about it, I think when you get past the top 10, I think Dalvin Cook, Marlon Mack, Damien Williams, and Aaron Jones are very similar players.
And I'll even say with Mac's the next one here. I ranked Mack one below Williams. I actually think I might switch this around because I've actually seen more from Mack than I think I have Williams in just terms of talent. I loved Mack his rookie year. I loved what I saw from him at times. But again, he has not put this all together yet, and that's my hesitation with him. But I think I might actually move Mack ahead of Williams. I actually, in a weird way, because at least they're both on great offenses. So both of these guys, though, could really vault to the top of this, to a top 5 type player and have a top 5 type season. And I'm worried that I'm missing it a little bit, but it's hard to exactly say what they're going to do.
No, it's funny too, because when I look at these 4 players, and these are very good players to have, but they all come with their question marks. But if I look at it between Dalvin Cook, Marlon Mack, Damien Williams, and Aaron Jones, I look at them and I say, okay, Marlon Mack and Aaron Jones would be the safer picks because they're gonna be fine. Dalvin Cook has injury concerns. Damien Williams, we haven't seen enough with him. But Dalvin Cook and Damien Williams are going to be the 2 that have carte blanche at first. So they're going to rush and they're going to catch. It worries me that Aaron Jones won't get enough rushes and that Marlon Mack will lose a ton of catching or a ton of receptions to Nyheim Hines. So those are kind of like what is going on in my head. So even though you're safer, I think the ceiling for the other 2 is actually higher.
Yep.
Aaron Jones is kind of up in the air because if they give him 300 touches all of a sudden, then it blows my theory out of the water and he's going to be amazing. But
all right, let's go number 15. Melvin Gordon. This is where he falls. I don't really have much to say about this. This is just obviously.
Where did you have him?
14.
Now? Oh, okay.
And you had him 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of buy this holdout. I kind of think this is going to linger. I think he saw what Bell did, and I think he is actually willing to do it. Zeke, I don't think is willing to do. I just feel like I don't worry about Zeke in this situation. I think Gordon might actually hold out. I think it's definitely a possibility. And so even at this spot, honestly, this is where I try to put him in a place where I think, okay, Melvin Gordon's still on the board. Will I draft him? And this is maybe where it's at, but I don't even know if it's here. I might even, the more this lingers, obviously the further he falls, but this might even, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
I think this is where I would.
That's as of today. I think I would. But
I think at today I would take him at number 15 because I think that is the drop off. He gets so many touches. He's so good around the goal line. They use him wonderfully. And even though he only played 12 games last year, what did he finish? He finished 7th and he missed 4 games. The guy was deadly. So in that offense, you plug him in, wonderful. You're going to get a RB1. Be great if I could get him here. But I'm like you. I'm worried. I'm worried that this is the real deal because he has missed a little bit of time. He is getting a lot of carries. He's getting beat up. And if his whole thing is I'm going to, make sure my career goes long, and we've already heard that someone is willing to give him the max contract, which I don't know who. I don't know if that is lies or what. But if someone is telling him, whispering in his ear, if you hold out, you got a home here. I can see him just saying, hey, I'm going to go with Bell and it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's I buy this. I really do. So he's down to 15.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. As soon as we hear anything different, he'll skyrocket back up.
All right, so this next 16 and 17, I guess I'll group together as the injury-prone duo with Leonard Fournette and Devonta Freeman. We don't really know what it's. The only reason they're this far below is just it's injury and all that. So Fournette 16, Freeman 17. Fournette's 18th for you. He's actually 13th for me yet.
Fournette?
Yeah, he's still 13th for me.
Wow.
Just because to me, that only beats out, though. It beats out Melvin Gordon, which I don't know. And it beats out for me the Williams and Mack, which maybe it shouldn't. I still have this. I like Fournette. I've liked Fournette. And I just think he's going to be just this true workhorse if he actually gets the shot to be.
Well, I mean, I think
that's the only
that's the
reason, I
problem.
guess.
He has gotten a shot.
He's just, I know. As I talk about it, I start to think, maybe he is a little high.
I like Fournette because he will get a ton of carries when he's in there, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He missed 3 games in his first year. He only played 8. He played half a season his second year, 2018 last year, and his yards per average has not been that good.
We don't like that stat when it doesn't benefit me.
Right. Yeah. But also, I mean, it's true because
no, it's true. That's very true. He has a lot of short carries.
Yes, exactly. He's a grind them out kind of guy. But and the first year when he even missed 3 games, he still had 10 touchdowns, 9 rushing, 1 catching. If he stays healthy, he'll be a wonderful back. I just don't. The mixture of the two with the way he has to play in order to be good and his injury concern worry me. And I think if I can get one of those other guys, I will, because I know that I'm going to have a backup for when he misses a game.
I do like the fact where you can get him, though, usually in the 3rd round now. That's not terrible. That's not the worst. But, yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
Do you actually have where he is going in the draft currently? Do you have that up?
He is. So ADP-wise, he's 15th, and expert consensus rank, he's 16th. So,
so he's still
running backs.
So he's still a name, so he's going 15th. I thought he would be going a little bit later. So for me, that's not a value. Unfortunately, I won't be getting him in a lot of these.
And then Freeman at 17. It's been 2 years since he's been healthy. And I mean, truly, I guess he played 14 games in 2017 and still only had 865 and 7 touchdowns. So, I mean, we're banking a lot on that 2015 season. He had the 2-year stretch, but I feel like this happens a lot where we sometimes keep reaching for past production that doesn't ever come back. And it doesn't always come back. I mean, it's
been 1 year. It's been 1 year.
He wasn't very good though in 2017. He wasn't really that good.
He wasn't bad. He missed 2 games.
Yeah, he just wasn't that good though.
He averaged 4.4 yards a carry.
He was just okay.
He had, how many touchdowns did he have? He still had 8 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, I guess he was okay, but he was still pretty good. And you had Tevin Coleman. I mean,
I think Ito Smith might just take that Tevin Coleman role. I don't know how much it switches.
Oh, no, he absolutely could. But even with Tevin Coleman, the years before that, in 2017, he had 196 carries. I think that's when he got injured. The year before that, played a full season, 227. The year before that, 265.
So
the 2 years before that, he had over 1,000 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns rushing, plus he had 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns receiving. I mean, he was very good, and that offense was obviously a lot better last year. And I think with him, with an improved defense, that running game will be more important because you need to control the clock a little more than they did last year, where they just had to chuck it a million times.
And it's kind of funny. I'm looking at that 2015 season where he was the number 1 back, and you look at that numbers and you don't it doesn't jump out to you like some of them do today.
It really doesn't.
1,056 yards, 11 touchdowns. That was a 4.0 yards per carry. 73 receptions for 578 and 3 touchdowns.
I'm not going to lie. 3 years ago for 73 catches was huge.
Yeah, but now you look at and everyone's doing it. It's like, I mean.
It was just kind of the first one, yeah.
All right, so last 3 guys. We got Kerryon Johnson, number 18. So he's your 20th, my 17th. And actually is tied with Mark Ingram, who is your 17th and my 20th. So we just flip-flopped him. Kerryon, does the Theo Riddick news, does that do anything for you with Kerryon?
No, not really.
Not really? You don't think it's going to change?
I think, I thought that Kerryon was going to be the workhorse anyway.
You were already kind of basing your rank without Riddick in mind.
And I like Kerryon. He hasn't shown me that he can take that kind of workload yet because he got injured obviously last year. Their offense wasn't very impressive, as it hurts me to say it, but the Lions weren't that impressive looking. I worry about the offense stagnating him. I think he'll be fine. I feel very good if he ends up on my team, but I think he has less upside than some of these other guys.
And I saw a lot of this. Theo Riddick released, and I see all these people. Let's jump Kerryon up the board. I don't think that was really the issue. I mean, but they signed C.J. Anderson for a reason. It's going to be maybe that because they're thinking, three down backs now. You're not going to have Riddick in on 3rd down, okay, but you're just going to have C.J. Anderson for a drive.
Right.
It's going to be something like that. So I want to see Kerryon Johnson be great. As a Lions fan, that is what I want to see. I love how people always think we're hating on Matt Stafford too in ranks, because I mean we want these guys to be good.
Yeah,
we truly want these guys to be good. There's a reason I hate Eric Ebron so much, because he wasn't good for the Lions, but if we want him to be good. I hope he is. So Mark Ingram then is 19th in the tie here. Again, we've talked about Ingram a lot. I'm not going to get into it too much. It's just, I think there's a great opportunity in Baltimore. And they've made so many other backs good. They made Gus Edwards good. They made Alex Collins good for a season, and he wasn't good.
And Justin Forsett, who we mentioned, how he's a one-year wonder, was on there.
They make these guys good. They always do. And
you have Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
Once again.
The mobile quarterback seems to always make the running back that much better. It seems to just always work. I always just go back to the Robert Griffin, Alfred Morris thing. Like Alfred Morris, man, showing up on this show. Alfred Morris is just a completely average running back who he was really good for 2 seasons, basically, all because he had a running quarterback next to him. And I think Ingram can be that. And that's why I think he's a steal and where we're getting him. And I don't feel like people are buying it like we are, but I picked up Mark Ingram in so many leagues.
I'm getting him in
He's my third running back in every league I'm in. So, all right, final guy here. Let's finish it off. Derrick Henry, number 20. You're 21st, my 19th.
Yeah, I'm still not happy about it. I think he deserves to be here because of the drop-off, but he comes with so many question marks.
You don't think that end of the year is really what he is?
Just like I don't think the end of the year, like the year before, was really what it was.
Yeah.
I bought it last year. This time around, he had plenty of opportunities to do this before, earlier in the season, and he did not. I don't think Tennessee has improved their offense enough where that downhill running is going to all of a sudden bust through. He'll have a few big games. There's no doubt. He is an incredibly athletic, big running back.
Yep.
But he's just never been able to do it.
This is the one though that this is where I'm like in the back of my mind. I'm like, am I missing out here? Am I missing this? Is he going to be what he was at the end of last season? But I'm trying to look at it. Okay, why am I taking a 4-game sample over a what? Was he 3 years in? How many years has he been in the league? 3 years? Is this year 4 now for him? Where are we at?
Yeah, where are we at?
I feel like I've had this many years for Derrick Henry so far. This is year 4, right? Yeah. So am I going to take? Am I going to take a 4-game sample over a 2.5 year sample, a 2 year and 3/4 sample? What am I really buying here? I can't quite buy it. Because what's really going to happen is he's not going to catch the ball. So as much upside as he could possibly have is going to be handcuffed by that. He's not going to catch the ball. So maybe he gets to be the 10th best. But exactly. I don't think we're going to get to the 2nd or 3rd best. No, that kind of crazy potential. That's not there.
Yeah, and he really did. He was phenomenal in the last 4 games. That's what everyone's going to point at. Mm-hmm. And just to give you a full view of what he did, he was really going from, I would love to get the average of what he was doing before these last 4 games because he blew up in the end. But 17 carries for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. Right there, that is the season maker. That changes all your numbers so quickly. He did that against Jacksonville. They ran away with it. The next game, they give him 33 carries. He got 170 yards and 2 touchdowns off of that. And then he kind of comes back down to earth, but still very good with 21 rushes, 84 yards and a touchdown, and then 16 carries for 93 yards and no touchdowns. In each of those games, he topped out at 1 or 2 targets. So he's, like Craig said, he's not going to catch it whatsoever. And before that, just his yards per game. So however you want to look at it, Deion Lewis took up everything. They couldn't get the passing game going. I don't think any of that really changes. He might get more carries. He had 215 attempts. So if that does balloon up by, just say they're going to, give him another 50 carries. Okay, yeah, I still think that he would be a fine back. He ended up with 12 touchdowns. Well, once again, in the last 5 games, he had 8 of them. It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, he was about 3.7 yards per carry before that last 4.
Before that last one. So, the yards per game rushing, because he doesn't catch it, once again, was 26, 56, 57, 24, 56, 21, 33, 27, 58, 46, 30, 40. Give me a break. And that's where it comes down to. Yeah. He could be the next big thing. This team has not changed enough to make him a viable option for me.
And that was 12 games?
Yeah, he played a full season.
He had 5 touchdowns in those 12 games, and he had 7 in the final 4. Yeah,
exactly. And think about who is playing too. You're playing Jacksonville,
they were done
the
at that
Giants,
point.
and Washington.
Yeah.
All three were
and Colts,
done.
who don't really have much of a, they're not known for their defense.
And he didn't score a touchdown in that one. So the 3 games he really blew up, he was going against people that just didn't have anything to lose. And let's be honest, that was also when you were in the playoffs. You probably weren't, you probably didn't make him, to the playoffs with him. And if you picked him up, you probably didn't play him right away because you're thinking it was fluky.
All right. That's going to do it for our top 20 running backs. We'll be back tomorrow with 20 through 40. We'll get the next batch of guys. Here's some interesting players in that grouping. Some that might break out. I'm not really sure who that is yet, though. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.